Hey, you guys, I'm being real lazy today and just doing this with my phone because why not? So, yesterday, 6 o'clock, I saw The Incredibles 2, and I saw Rotten Tomatoes score. Don't get me wrong, Rotten Tomatoes has flaws, but they gave this movie, in my opinion, too high of a score. This movie rode heavily on nostalgia. It's 14 years in the making. The original one came out in 2004. It's 2018 now, and everyone was super hyped for this film. So when it came out, I think people were watching things through nostalgia goggles. The first one, phenomenal film. I saw the score that Rotten Tomatoes gave it, and I agree. If you look at the critics' responses between this movie, the Incredibles 2, and the first one, you will see what kind of critics they got for this film. And I don't know how else to say it, but I feel like the critics they got for this film were, I'm not going to say they were paid to be lenient or give it a higher score, but the wording they used to describe the film wasn't nearly as sophisticated as the first one. I felt like the critics they got for this film weren't nearly as educated on cinema as the ones from the first one were, because the first Incredibles was amazing and people enjoyed it. This one, my brother even asked me if I liked the movie because he had this look on his face like, was that it? Is that everything we were getting after 14 years? And I didn't know what else to tell him. Like, yeah, it was a decent movie. My friends are going to go see it today, and I told them, I mean, it's, I guess, the new standard for films. Every video I'm making so far, with the exception of Deadpool, I feel, is like me, like, tearing movies apart. And I don't like that. But it's hard for me to go see a film that was being advertised for a long, long time. We were being told over years and years that, oh, a sequel will eventually happen. And then we finally found out it was happening. And we get this film. It's, I don't know. Maybe my expectations were too high or something, but let me get into it. Let me just tell you some of the things that I found issue with. First off, if you are going to go see The Incredibles 2, do not watch the first one before you go and see the second one. If you do, you'll be very disappointed, and you'll also notice the things that I noticed. So, one of the things that is different about the second one that the first one did really well was the family dynamic. The first one, you had the mom and the kids that worked really well together. The voice actor for Dash was, in my opinion, much more superior in the first one. 14 years later, the boy grew up. He's a man now, so of course they had to get someone new. This new voice actor, though he sounds similar, is nowhere near as talented, and they give him a lot of one-liners and a lot of like dumb dialogue. In the first movie, Dash was sort of arrogant, rebellious, and like a macho superhero wannabe. In this movie, he's an obnoxious little boy that you want to just smack in the face because his parents won't tell him to shut the fuck up. That's the difference between the Dash in the first one and the second one. The first one, cool kid, he's a smart ass, smart mouth. You root for him when he's fighting the bad guys. This one, you want someone to knock him out so he'll stop talking. Since the mom is, if you've seen the trailer, you know that the mom is off doing her own thing while the dad's at home taking care of the kids. Well, the dynamic between the dad and the kids is not nearly as fun to watch. Violet, for whatever reason, is a bitch in this film. Like, she's a real big bitch, and it confused me because this film takes place literally right after the second one. So when I say right after, I don't mean like a couple weeks, couple days. No, where the first one ends, where they put their mask on when they see the Underminer, that's where this film picks up. And I don't understand how they could not like connect the characters and sort of write the characters based off of the first film, because when they took Violet from the first one and implanted her character into the second one, they just changed her. They sculpted her. They turned her into this like pre-adolescent nightmare. Like she hated her parents. She hated being a superhero. And she just hated everything about being super. She tried to destroy her outfit, and I just didn't get it. It didn't make sense to me. You also have Frozone, which he has more screen time in this film than he did in the other one, but he really didn't do much, and he wasn't really funny. I don't know. I don't know why they would include him, and they made him seem so like important, like a key figure, when they didn't do anything with him. They just, oh, we need all three of you. We need Frozone, Elastigirl, and Mr. Incredible, and we're not going to do anything with Frozone though. We'll just have him there because I guess he's a token black dude. But he just didn't do much. The villain in this film, super obvious. And when I say super obvious, the moment you see this individual, you're like, bad guy. They have all these faux villains. No, you knew it was this person the entire time. I understand it's a kids movie, but when it comes to the first film, there was no air of mystery. There was no maybe this is the bad guy. When they showed Buddy, they let you know that he would be a villain whenever he got pissed off, and he had his reasons. Like there was no guessing why he was upset. With this villain, you're like, okay, first off, this is the bad guy, but why? And it's a huge mystery of why they're doing this, because the reasoning that they give doesn't really make sense. Well, it doesn't make sense, and that's the one they're sticking with. The response or the conclusion that they end up with for this villain being a villain doesn't make any sense. It's sort of dumb, but they run with it anyway, and they expect the audience to be okay with it. I wasn't okay with that. I was like, there could have been another villain for this film, but they just didn't want to do it for whatever reason. I don't know. The score was the same. I liked the soundtrack, of course. The music was amazing, and it was appropriate. But other than the music, there was really nothing redeemable about this film. The first Incredibles I would go and see in theaters again. This one I wouldn't. I feel like it'd be a waste of money. It's like Finding Dory. So you had Finding Nemo, excellent film. Make a sequel that you know isn't going to be as good, but when you watch it and it's that bad, I'm sorry. I mean, I hesitate to say it because I love Pixar, but Finding Dory wasn't good, and neither was this movie. I was so upset when I saw this movie and the credits started rolling up, and it just wasn't good. Oh, I let me. There was one good thing about this film, Jack. So you see in the trailer him using like different powers. Well, they expand on that in the movie, of course, and they show him using a shit ton of powers. And Jack, honestly, I think is the only character in this film that I really liked. Elastigirl is maybe in one of the like characters, but I didn't care for Mr. Incredible. Frozone wasn't used as much, and Edna from the first one, the little lady with the glasses, she had I think 2 scenes in this film, and that was it. The funniest character from the first film, I don't know if they cut her scenes or what, but she was not. She didn't have a strong presence in this film. They referenced her towards the beginning, but they waited till like an hour and 15 minutes to show her. So that's where you see her in her first scene. And then, you wait another 25 minutes and you see her again. And that was it. And I'm like, she's one of the best characters. And she has like all the gadgets. She makes, all the suits. So I don't understand why didn't they use her? She's one of the best characters, in my opinion, from the first film. She was the funniest, hands down. And I think she was the funniest one in this film too. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. If you've seen the movie, let me know how you feel. If you haven't seen the movie, I would still go check it out. But as I said before, do not watch the first one before you go and see this one, because you'll be really disappointed in the quality of the story, in the quality of the characters, and overall the quality of the writing. So, I mean, check it out. And yep, I'm in my pajamas, sitting on the couch recording this. Peace out for now.